What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on and talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's coming on with me today, and this is the first time guest where we've had a jet drag racer on the show. Her name is Elaine Larsen. She is the owner and president of Larsen Motorsports and has been so for the past 24 plus years. She's also an inductee in the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, which we will talk about, and she is a two-time jet dragster racer winner. So without any further ado, I introduce to you the talented, the beautiful Elaine Larsen.
Hey, how are
Good
you?
morning. How are you doing, sweetheart? How are you doing?
Doing well.
I'm glad to hear that. It's wonderful to see your face. You look absolutely lovely today. Just want to say that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you for hopping on my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder. I really do appreciate it. First thing I want to ask you though is how is your week going so far?
It's going well. We were just in Bahamas this last weekend, taking some well-needed rest and relaxation, getting ready to gear up for the race week. So, getting all the last-minute merchandising, all of the stuff that we need to do, getting the cars loaded up in the trailers because in the next couple of weeks, all hell's going to break loose.
I can imagine. I can only imagine. I saw the season schedule. It goes all the way to late October. So I was like, man,
Yep.
okay, you guys are very, very busy for sure. No question. I want to reiterate to you before I start peppering you with all these questions on why I wanted to have you on here. Number one, I've never talked to a jet dragster racer before on my platform. Never have. It's the first
Yep.
time, and it's an absolute pleasure for me because I love sports. I love all kind of sports. I'm a sports journalist, so I cover all different kind of sports from high school, college, and professional. Um, and to have you on, someone who's the owner and the president of their own motorsport, someone who's been racing as well. If anybody knows your story, years ago, there was a terrible accident that you had. We'll get into that, but how you overcame that as well, and how you have kind of built this company, this business up, has been remarkable. It's been incredible because also you're a two-time winner as well.
That's it.
And
Got to be the world champ, everyone.
absolutely right. And not only that, but we'll get into it. You got inducted into the Florida Sports Hall of Fame in
Yep.
2023. So the reason why I wanted to have you on here is because I want to know about your story. I want to know about your upbringing. I want to know about your why. And that's really what my first question is, Elaine. And it's the same for everybody that comes on this platform is what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models, any inspirations growing up? What made you fall in love with the sport of racing and wanted and allowed you to become a racer yourself?
Okay, so I grew up in this very small town in Michigan, and I was a little Mennonite girl. So I don't know if you know what Mennonite is. It's a little more progressive than Amish. So we didn't have TV or radios, but we did have cars and lights. Okay, so
Okay.
it was a very small, very tight-knit community. And I actually loved how I grew up. I grew up on a farm, so we
Okay.
had horses and pigs and cows, and we farmed and did everything, and it was good. But I met
Mhm.
this boy when I was 16 years old. He was driving a 32 Ford Deuce Coupe driving down the road. He turned my
Mhm.
head, I turned his head, and the rest is history. I never knew up until I was 16 that racing could have even been a potential career choice. But
Sure.
I met this boy, and when he graduated from high school and I did, 18 and 19 years old, we actually got married. Didn't know where this crazy journey was going to take, but what I loved about him is that his dad was an engineer, his mom was a teacher, and they taught him life was limitless. It was only as small as what you make it. And so he started taking me to air shows and racetracks and just all these really cool motorsportsy kind of things. And
Yeah.
I fell in love with it. We moved to Florida and from Michigan for his job. And I kind of followed around. I was like the good wife, you know what I mean? Following behind him and
Sure.
doing whatever, just whatever it took to keep the family alive and going. And he's like, you know what, Elaine, I've been living my dream. It's time for you to go find yours. We went out to Orlando Speed World and it was a little local track. And I found my dream. It was a little 1975 Chevy Vega that was a super gas car that it would launch on its rear bumper. We put a big
Sure.
black Chevy in it and she would go, gosh, 150, 160 miles an hour and high nines, low 10-second quarter miles. And I thought I was the baddest chick out there, man. I thought, look at me go. And
Mm.
little did I know, or little did he know, that he unleashed a beast because once I went fast, the first thing I wanted to do was go faster. We decided to throw all of our chips in, put it all in, and bet it all in. And we decided to both quit our jobs, start building this race team, and make a career out of it. My
Wow.
first race car was called the Mystifier. It was a jet powered dragster that the husband built. Husband had never built a race car before. I'd never driven a beast like that before. Fastest I'd ever gone before that was like 160. First
Right.
time out, I was almost 200 miles an hour in that Mystifier. I was like, dang. Um, yeah, didn't know. And it's a good thing we didn't know because I don't know how I didn't catch on fire and was upside down that whole first year, but somehow I managed to keep my fingers and toes.
Sure.
But 23 years later, we're still doing it. And yeah, it was a good bet putting all of our chips in because now we've made a career out of it. We've also made many other people's careers out of it. So we've employed, several people along the way. The most I've had, I've licensed, I think it's 14 different jet car drivers. I just licensed another one. One of my best friends just got a jet dragster license. My girl Josette races alongside
Yep.
me. And
Yep.
so at one point we had all five girls on my five car team. We had all five ladies racing. So that was pretty cool. So why?
Mm.
Because I got a fire in my belly. I met a boy and nobody told me no.
I love that. Okay. Now listen. Now the boy that you met, you guys are high school sweethearts. Plus, his name is also Chris. If I'm thinking that right, am I correct by saying that?
Yep, we'll be married next weekend. It'll be 38 years. So
38 years.
yeah,
I love that.
38 years. Yep, yep, still going strong. He's living his dream. He's still building my race cars. He got his
Hmm.
pilot's license. He's flying me to the Bahamas. He's my own personal private pilot. So it's perfect. Yeah.
So, so somebody who, because I just turned 38 this year, in February 2nd,
Baby.
right? So I just turned 38. What is the key to a successful of a marriage, of that marriage of lasting that long? Because I would love to find love like that, but you gotta. It's so hard nowadays, Elaine, to try to find love like that. But what's the key?
I think the big part is that we're best friends. You know what I mean? And we both have the same passion. We both love to go out. We love boating, we love flying, we love racing, and we've just decided to embrace our passions together.
Mhm.
And so, there's times where I can't stand to look at him because we work together. We've been working together 23 years, and if I have to see his face one more second, I'm gonna punch it. I'm like, go
Right,
away.
right.
But you know what? He is the last face I see before I go down the racetrack, and he's the first face I see when I get out of the race car. And he's pulled me out of many jams out of that car. He has allowed me to live a bigger life than I ever thought was power or possible. And he supports me 1,000,000%. If I say I'm going to jump, he'll say, "Okay, let me build you a parachute so you don't fall." That's
I
him.
love that. I love that. And that's what a partner should be, right? The partner should
Yep.
definitely do that for sure. Do you still race? Do you still race on
I
occasion?
am. I am. I was supposed to retire. I keep saying I'm going to retire. The problem is racing is very demanding. It's not the 5 seconds that you're in the race car don't going down the quarter mile. That's not
Mm.
the demanding part. That's just the fun part. That's just the woo, that's it.
Right.
But it's all the other stuff. It's the personal appearances. It's the, social media stuff. It's everything else that you have to do. So like my life this week, I have this, but I have like 2 other events that I have to go do, speaking events and just doing stuff. It is a lot in order to keep the
Mhm.
sponsors happy, in order to keep, I
Yeah.
have a educational outreach that I'm really proud of. It's called Blazing Trails. So we go into high schools, middle schools, tech and trade schools, and we talk about career opportunities. I mean, we all have one life, and it's fun going fast and going down the track, but to be able to kind of talk about your life and share it with the next generation and be able to allow them to maybe see that this is something they could do. Trust me, there's nothing special about me except I just had the support system to go out and do this. And so, maybe I can be that support system for someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, see, I got to push back on you a little bit, Elaine, because now you talking about you're not special. You are definitely, absolutely special. There's no question about it.
Well,
But everybody is special. That's one of the reasons why I do this podcast, is because everybody's story is unique. The story that you just came up with the high school sweethearts, you turning your head, he turning his head, you locking eyes, and you marrying that special someone that you saw. You just knew that, hey, this might be a good thing. And it turned out to be 38 years later. But also, you're doing something that's unique. Definitely unique back then. I don't think it's as unique anymore, but women racing in cars, right?
yep,
They're women racing in cars. If you would have looked at it back then, it'd been like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, that's crazy.
yep,
Like, it was foreign, right? It's the same as women sports reporters. Back then, you didn't see a lot of women sports reporters or women broadcasters. I think what you're doing is amazing. I'm glad that you're allocating opportunities for other drivers to hop onto your motorsports. I think that's amazing too. I did see that Josette was a part of your team as well. I wanted to follow up that question when I asked you about racing. How many races do you try to do a year? Because racing goes on for a long time. The race season.
it does. It'll wear you out. So you have to make sure that not only it's whatever race, however many races I want to do, but it's not just about me as much as I would love for it to be all about me, but it's not. So I have to think about my team. I have to think about my crew chiefs. I have to think about the truck and trailer drivers. I have to think
Yeah,
about the whole team and how much time and commitment that I can expand on them and how much I'm taking away of their personal time, because at the end of the day, we all have families, we all have commitments, we all have things. So I try to find a nice delicate balance. So we try to do like actual races, about 15 races a year, which doesn't sound like much, because it's a little over one a month. But then we'll probably do another 15 engagements. So we'll do like car shows, we'll do air shows, we'll do other things, and that takes our time. So that's 30 events a year, which is a lot. So, and that's what pays the bills. The racing is just what fuels our soul, but the what feeds our belly is all these personal appearances that we do. So we have to do that. Yeah. I mean, we make money racing. Racing pays for racing, but if we want to eat and we want to have a nice life after that, we have to go out and do the hustle. And what I found is 23 years ago, it was a little bit easier for the hustle. And now you got to work a little bit harder,
yeah,
and sponsors are not just as easy to get because everyone's an influencer on Instagram and TikTok and all that kind of stuff,
sure, absolutely.
um, everyone has a camera and a brand and all that kind of stuff. So you just have to show that you're special. So I still shoot 30 feet of fire out the back of my race car and go 280 miles an hour in 5 seconds. There, bam.
I love it. I love it. That's what's up. I'll be damned if I'm going that fast. The speed limit here is good. Speed limit is
Yeah,
good for me. I'm a different
that's not
kind of
even getting
adrenaline.
warmed up.
I know it. Listen, I'll leave that fast stuff to y'all. I'm a different kind of adrenaline junkie. I like to do skydiving. I like to do whitewater rafting. I like to do
Mhm.
zip lining. That's my kind of like adrenaline rush. That's what I like to do. Those type of things. But as far as like driving fast, no. But I do want to, and I want to say this before I get to the next question, Elaine. I do want to see one of y'all races. I actually looked at y'all season schedule, and it kind of lines up for when I'm actually going to be in Florida in the month of October. I definitely would love to keep in contact with you because I definitely would love to come see one of your races for sure.
in the starting line, trust me, it's a hair-raising experience. If you're not a little singed when you're out of there, then something's not right. Josette and I aren't doing our job. So,
Okay.
yeah, it'll literally raise the hair on the arms. It's crazy. It's so fun to be between two jet power dragsters. Our engines are actually out of little fighter trainers, so a
Mhm.
T-38 or an F5. Um, and so people say, why don't you get a bigger engine? Well, because it's weight. So our cars weigh about 1,400 pounds fueled with us in it, with all ready to go. They'll go 0 to 100 in about a second. They tap out about 285, 290 in about 5 seconds.
Mm.
So, yep, we know how to get to where we want to go really fast. But we do use parachutes to stop, and all of the safety equipment is always on board, and we make sure that we're keep our cars shiny side up at the end of the track.
I love it. Okay. Well, listen, we'll be in contact with each other, I'm sure, because like I said, around the month of October, you have a few races in Florida, so I'm thinking,
Yep.
I'm definitely thinking that one of those I can definitely catch. So we'll be in contact with that for sure. The next question I want to ask you is some favorite questions. So you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon these favorite questions that I asked. The first favorite one I want to ask you is who was your favorite race car driver growing up?
Has to be Shirley Muldowney. She is the
Mm,
queen of racing. She is the one who, I mean, there was a few other drag racers before, but Shirley is the one who paved the way for all of us ladies.
okay, I like that. I like that. Favorite meal you like to cook?
I love to cook. So now if you ask me, it's anything in a bowl, like street taco bowls, anything like that. So yeah.
Okay, now. All right.
Yep.
When I pull up to Florida, Elaine, I'm gonna have to say hello to you now. A street
Yep.
taco? That's what's up. I like that. All right.
Yep,
All
yep.
right.
Anything, yeah, try to eating healthy as you're getting older. I gotta start putting like all the good stuff in there. So yep. Oh well.
Absolutely. No question about that. I'm a huge taco person. I like beef, chicken, and steak.
Yep.
All those. So yeah, I love that. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Oh, I was a part of a marketing team, and we went and we
Mhm.
got to see the Rolling Stones, and that was amazing.
Wow.
It was in the middle of a hurricane, and they sang Give Me Shelter. It was insane. I don't even care. I don't think anybody could recreate this. The wind was whipping, chairs were blowing around, and Mick Jagger was on the stage screaming Give Me Shelter. It was so flippin' amazing. Still the top one of the top moments. It was awesome.
For him to even still be performing at the age that he is, Lord have mercy. Okay.
Man, he sounds amazing. It was awesome.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Rolling Stones, I like that. I would probably say for me was Alicia Keys. I'm not sure.
Oh, cool.
Alicia Keys is definitely somebody who I really love for sure. I'm a huge R&B person.
Yep,
Um,
and I love how her artistry, I'm a big piano person, so I love how she just sits and plays from the heart. It's always awesome.
Absolutely, no question about it. We agree on that. Favorite place, Elaine, that you ever traveled to?
I was just there, Treasure Cay, in the Bahamas. It's one of the top 2 beaches in the world, and you have to either fly or come get there by private aircraft or by boat. And
Yep,
so there's hardly anyone there. And I was swimming with sharks and stingrays, and they were trying, yeah,
yep.
it's breathtaking. It's my peaceful place. Phones don't work, TVs, you just it's a unplug and go away. Hmm.
Absolutely. Great that you said that because last October, went on my first cruise that I ever went on, and one of the stops was Treasure Cay, Bahamas.
Yep.
And it was a beautiful, beautiful place. Weather was great, swimming with stingrays. They tried to get me to kiss a stingray. I'm like, no, y'all tripping. I ain't doing all that. But but I would take a picture of someone doing it, and I did, and it was great. It was just a great vibe. We went to the Bahamas, Jamaica, Mexico, and also the Cayman Islands. So it
Yep.
was 4 stops on a week-long cruise that we went on. It was pretty
Yep.
cool.
That's awesome.
I love it. I love it. That's what's up. Okay, I'm a sports person. You're a sports person. I
Yep.
think I know. I think so. I'm going to ask you this question. It's a two-part question. Favorite sport that you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport that you like to attend in person outside of racing? Because I know
Okay.
racing is your thing.
Basketball. Anything basketball. So when we first moved to Florida, I was a huge Orlando Magic fan. I was a Magic fan when it was Shaq,
And
Penny,
Penny.
Horace Grant. Okay, that
Mhm.
was like the dream team. Okay, so I'm going way back. But I
Yeah.
used to watch every single Magic game. If I'm gonna go see something right now, I like hockey because I tend to be a little bit violent. So but I like basketball, hockey. I like fast impact sports. And anything else just takes too long for me. So basketball and hockey kind of tend to be in my wheelhouse.
Wow. No, I definitely didn't see that answer, that's for sure. Because you have an angelic type of face. And you say violent,
Oh
I
no.
was like, oh man.
I'm like bam, bam, get them up against
Okay.
the thing.
You know what? Yep. You're
Yep.
the kind of people that we gotta worry about at the games. That's for
Oh,
sure.
100%. 100%. Yep.
That's awesome. I love that though. Hockey. That's what's up. I think the Florida Panthers are in the Stanley Cup Finals. Are you
I
rooting for
think
them?
they are. Yep, yep. I haven't because we've been so unplugged. We've been doing other stuff. This year, last year, I was in the mix of it. I did watch when it was U.S. versus it was Canada. I watched a lot of that. That was
Mhm.
the international. That was kind of fun.
Yeah,
So we
absolutely.
watched those, but I haven't gotten back into it. But yeah,
Okay, okay, I like that. Now, my last of the favorite questions is favorite restaurant to eat at. I'm a huge traveler, Elaine, so I do like to go to different places. I went to Orlando this past January. It was called Podcast Fest for the very first time. And yeah, I like just trying different things in different cities. I think you're in Melbourne, Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
we
I'm
are.
not
We
I'm
are.
not I am not sure where Melbourne is. But what is your favorite restaurant that you like to eat at out there?
So when we go, my favorite one is either the Seafood Shack, which is right on the water, or Yellow Dog Cafe. It's both right on the water.
Mm,
But Melbourne's just a little bit south of Kennedy Space Center, so Cocoa Beach. If you just go a little bit, so we get to see rockets launch all the time. So I'm not the
wow.
fastest thing on the planet. It's like when you think you got the coolest thing, then a rocket launches. Elon shoots up a
Right,
few rockets every day. So
right.
I'm still not the coolest thing here, but no, anything on the water. I'm drawn to water. It's so peaceful, it's so pretty. The dolphins are cueing the dolphins and they're jumping in the air. The sea turtles are nesting and it's beautiful. It's something so polar opposite of what I do in my real life. Racing where it's loud and it's stinky and it's smoky and it's in your face and it assaults everything. I like to go where it's just peaceful and quiet. So I like to have just a little bit of difference.
I love that. I do. I appreciate that. Is there a venue that you like racing at more than any other venue? Is there like a favorite venue that you like to
Absolutely.
racing?
I go home. US 131 Motorsports Park in Martin, Michigan. All of my family come out. That's just going home. As much as Florida has been my home for, gosh, like 35 years. When I go back to Michigan, all my family is there, and it's more of like a family reunion. My husband's family's there, and it's just the fans there. I mean, I love my Orlando track because that was the first track I ever went down, but the Michigan track just is when I pull in, I just feel like I'm putting on a comfy pair of slippers. This is home.
I love that. I love it. Home is where the heart is, right? So no
Yep.
doubt. I
Yep.
mean, absolutely. And Michigan's a great place. Been there several times, so definitely love Michigan. Summertime, not the winter
Not
time.
winter. Yeah, I don't do cold anymore. No.
Yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that. It's unfortunate that I'm here in Minnesota and it just happens to bring snow in the winter months, but
Yep.
nonetheless, they have beautiful summers here. So the summer is very beautiful here, no question. Um, I want to ask you about your day-to-day operations. Being an owner, being a president, but also being a racer, you're wearing many different hats. You're also a mom, you're also a wife as well. So you wear many hats. You're very busy in a 24-hour stretch. And like you said, you put on not only 15 racing events a year that you try, but also 15 events. You have to also get these events together as well, to try to get these sponsors. Talk to me about a day-to-day operation of what you go through. Like, when do you wake up? What do you do normally during the day? When do you try to unplug and say, you know what, Elaine, stop it. I'm not doing anything
Yeah.
else. I'm going to focus on my family now.
Well, so I wake like today I woke up at 5:15. I run, I go out and I ran a couple miles, then I did some free weights just because, you know, time is ticking and if you don't move it, you will lose it. And so to be able to get in and out of the car, to be able to do the high stress stuff that I do, I have to stay physically fit and mentally sharp.
Hmm.
So I get up and work out always for the first hour of the day. That's mine. Nobody gets me. That's mine. And then I get a shower and then I come into the shop. I'm usually here by 7:30, 8 o'clock. I like coming in before anyone else gets here so that I can kind of just sit at my desk, open up some emails and just unwind and look around. But then it starts. So we'll have during the school year, we'll have anywhere between 15 interns and students that come to work with us. So they come in and they shadow my team, and they work with my team. So then it's just looking at what race operations look at, like the building of the cars, the designing of the cars. Sometimes I'm sitting in a car as the engineers are designing the cars around me. And then sometimes I'm actually out there working, fixing the cars, helping it, pulling afterburners off, putting engines in the car. So it doesn't matter whatever job needs to be doing. And then sometimes I'm out there mopping the floors in the shop. It doesn't matter if someone's coming and we got to get it done. But for the most part, I'm always looking for sponsors. I'm keeping sponsors happy by, writing reports, creating videos, creating graphics, doing the
Right.
website, um, planning travel. Yesterday was travel day. So I booked, I think it was like 40 flights yesterday for the entire team, just getting them through the next couple of races, just getting the flights booked, the hotels booked, the rental cars booked. I like to do all of that because I like to make sure I know what everybody likes. Like I know you might like an aisle seat, but you like to fly at 6 o'clock in the morning because you like to be out. You like a nonstop flight. So I know what everyone likes. So I like to
Hmm.
put them where they're comfortable, because when they get there, I want them to be happy campers and not have a
Right.
miserable travel experience. So
Absolutely.
just having the team, we're actually heading up to New York and it's a new racetrack and we're planning a fun day. We've never seen Niagara Falls. I've been around there a bunch of times, never seen it. So I flew everybody in a day early. So we're gonna go to the track, set up. We're gonna work hard, and then we're gonna go play. And go see Niagara Falls. Yeah, I'm sure you won't see us tumbling off it, but yeah, just whatever it takes, making sure that everything gets done, all I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and that's pretty much it.
I like that. Work hard, play hard. No
Oh,
pun intended.
absolutely.
No pun
Yep.
intended. I love that. That's how I live my life too. I love that. When do you get a chance to unplug? When do you say like, you know what, Elaine, the day is over. I'm not gonna worry about any more work stuff until the next day.
Well, so I have these two little pugs. I have Piper and Penelope. And so when
Mm.
I get home at night, as soon as I get home, I don't have a computer at the house. I just have my phone. I try to unplug there. And
Okay.
I try not to bring a computer home. So I take them in the backyard. They run and play, and that's their time. And that's when I just sit and think and meditate and just have fun watching the pups play. Pretty much home time is when I unplug. As soon as I open up the garage door, pull my car in, shut that door, I try to turn everything off because I try to keep work at work and home at home. That
Yeah.
doesn't always work,
Right.
but that is the goal. Whether it's through planting flowers or cooking, like you said, or playing with the pups. I like to just have something so polar opposite. Whereas here, my arms are in jet engines, or we're working on stuff, and it's just so loud and so intense when we're around the race shop. I like anything that's opposite at home.
I like that. No, you got to have the separation, right? And in the
Yep,
life of a journalist, it's kind of hard because we're always looking at social media, trying to be the
yep,
first, or trying to be this, or trying to be that. But you do have to unplug. And for me, I like to unplug in a way of taking walks, going writing poetry, going to the park. I like to work out as well. We have a YMCA here that I like to go into. I like to work
yep,
out, put my headphones on super loud,
yep.
and then just go to work. I like to do that. And but it's a great segue to the next question, Elaine, and that's mental health. Because sometimes when we go from 0 to 100, in your case, 280, when we go that fast all the time, sometimes, our bodies can burn out. Some people do burn out. Some people can get overwhelmed. And with a lot of hats that you wear and a lot of things going on, my question to you is, how do you keep your mental health strong, but also have that work-life balance? Because like I said, you can feel burnout sometimes when you're always going from 0 to 100 all the time.
Yep, yep. I think it's important just to know when you're at your limit and to just tap out. And so, like, Josette and I, she is my right hand. She literally knows what I want before I want it. She's there. She gets like she gets me. You know what I mean? She's my second
Mhm.
half. The husband is my soulmate, but she is like we click together. And so we look at each other and we say, okay, we're done. And so we might just take off. She has got a little pup. I have a pup. We just take off and just go have a mental health day. Whether we're not shoppers, we're not your normal typical girly girls. We don't get our nails done. We don't do any of that kind of stuff. But we'll just go and, hang out by the pool. We'll watch the pups play. We'll go to the beach. We'll just do something. And it's so important to realize that it's enough. You know what I mean? Maybe go watch a chick flick. Just something because again, taking yourself out of what's causing you the most intensity, is really important because we'll get there, man. Sometimes her and I are just so deep into it, and it's like we can't handle one more thing. And we say, let's
Right.
just go. We'll go to our favorite restaurant and get a couple cocktails and just relax and just talk about anything but work.
I know that's right. Definitely.
Mhm.
And Josette is definitely somebody in the future podcast I would definitely love to have on here for
Oh,
sure
heck
because
yeah,
I
that
definitely
girl,
think
she
that.
is she's not even a rising star, she's already a shooting star. She is amazing. She just
Mhm.
got married this year, so she's got a son, a husband, a little fluffy Frenchy dog, and living her very best life, and I love that I get to be a part of it. I love that I get to see her journey going from just this girl that wanted to have a career into someone who has a career in this, and is not only taking it, she's dominating in it.
I
She is
love it.
going to take over. She is going to be not the next Elaine because she is going to be the Josette. She is going to rock this job. She's the vice president of race operations. And when I want to start taking a tech step back, I have a new granddaughter named Layton. So I'm a
Okay.
Gigi. And so excited about that. So there's going to be days where I want to take her out and just take her to the park. And Josette, I know, can handle things. So
I love it.
it's
I
nice
love
for
it.
me to be able to take a step back and let her, take a step forward and take the reins. Mhm.
I love that. I was gonna ask the bonus question came up in my mind, and that's as a boss, also with mental health. You talked about having interns and people that work for you. How important is it to have the pulse of your interns and the people that you work for? 'Cause, everybody has bad days. Everybody has days and things going on in
Yep.
their lives and things that sometimes that that they don't want to talk about or they may need to talk to somebody about as a boss, how important is it for you to have the pulse of your team and be able to say, okay, you know what, if you need a mental health day, go ahead and take it. Like, I want you here at your best.
Yep, 100%. They always know, like, what they do involves people's lives, and I know with a lot of people it's the same thing, but with them, literally, when they put the car together, it's Josette and Mai's life that is in their hands, and so they have to be sharp, they have to be on it, and if for some reason they're not that day, because we all have days, they just need to be enough to where they walk up to me and say, "Hey, Elaine, today's not my day," and I'll say, "Okay,
Mhm.
what you need?" You know what I mean? And what do you need? You tell me what you need and we will make it happen. And that's so important and to understand people that work for you because everyone has their baggage that they bring to work and I want them to be able to have a great life at home so that they can come have a great life at work. So making sure that they have what they need to keep their family happy. They're living in a good situation. Their car's not broke down. If their car's broke down, they're going to be worried about, how they're going to get home from work or, just little things. If there's financial stress, I try to
Right.
alleviate all of that so that when they're at work, they can be 100% focused and dialed in. And if they can't, then they tell me and I see what I can do to help or I get them some resources because if you've got someone distracted, 80% isn't good enough for me on my race cars. It's got to be 110%. Otherwise, it's a no go, you know?
Sure. Sure, absolutely. I love that answer. I love that. You gave great answers all conversation long. So, but that answer is really good. I love that. Diversity is something I definitely want to touch up on. Obviously, somebody you don't see a lot of faces like myself in race cars. Whether it, and you definitely don't see a lot of women of just ethnicity in racing. Talk to me about the importance of inclusion in racing, right? As you continue to build this, be an owner and a president of this team. Talk to me about the importance of inclusion in racing and as far as your team goes.
I tell people, I don't care who you are. I care about I don't care what you are and like what you look. I just want you to have that same fire. I want you to come in and I want you to be able to fit. I don't care what
Yeah.
your puzzle piece looks like. It's just
Right,
got to be able to click in and jive with everyone else. I've had a lot of ladies, and we do get a lot of international students, and it's funny because you learn so much from everyone. I had this
without
girl
question.
from she was from Kenya, and she came in and she taught me so much. And it
Mm.
was just like how she was raised, how she was born. And I love hearing people's stories because they bring something different. If all we wanted was the same thing over and over and over, that gets boring. So it's fun to kind of have different people. I tell you, most people think that I'm more inclusive to ladies. And I said, you're going to be surprised. It doesn't matter what you are, who you are, you just have to have a passion. It's your soul, it's your character, it's what drives you, it's what's underneath, it's what wakes you up, it's what keeps you moving. Those are things that are so much more important to me because you have to bring that to the game every single time and making sure that we have an environment here that provides it to where everyone feels like they can walk through the front door. It was funny because Josette walked up to me at a racetrack and she's like, she's not going to listen to me. And I gave her my card. And the hardest thing she said to do was walk through the front door. I said, come see me sometime. Here's my card. And I tell
Right.
that to people. It took her like 6 times driving to the shop before she got out of her car and walked through the front door. She was so nervous. And I said, once she walked through the front door, she said, it was like I was home. And so I think it's you got to make those scary choices. You have to make it. And I love that she realized that this was a big commitment. But the hardest thing is just walking through the front door sometime, putting yourself out there saying, hey, maybe I want to race. I never thought about it before, but maybe this is something I want to do. We're actually having a contest of who wants to be the next jet car driver. We're putting it out
Oh,
there.
okay.
I don't care. There's no age restriction. There's no, male, female. I don't care. I want to find the person who has that fire in their belly. I want to find the person who really wants to be a race car driver. And I want to make that happen. I've done it for lots of different people and help them start their careers and help them, go through their entire career. I had my first Marisha, she was a pilot from a school that we were at, and she says, I want to be a car driver like you. And so she came along for the ride. She raced for me for, gosh, like 6 years. And
Yeah.
now she's married and got her own child and stuff like that. But it was really cool to see that. So, you know, yeah, just trying to make a space where people feel like they can walk in and they can say, I want to do this, and that they feel accepted is important.
Yeah, the first step is walking through the door, being able to
Yeah.
talk to someone. Especially being in this business, you want to try to build as many network connections and like
Yep.
yourself, like you putting contests together, events together. You want people to be interested in what you're doing, and have that fire, like you said. But the only way that you're going to be able to do that is to be able to network and walk through the door. And it's just an important question to ask because we don't see a lot of it. We don't see a lot of diversity. Like even in the male, when you talk about NASCAR, you talk about F1, you talk about other different kind of racing things. You
Yep.
you don't see a lot of diversity. You might see more international people for sure,
Yep.
but you
Yep.
definitely don't see a lot of my color. in the
Yep.
race for sure. And I think it's important that we do get people on there because racing is a great sport. It's a great sport. I enjoy watching it at times. I grew up loving Jeff Gordon. He was
Oh
my
yeah.
favorite. He was my favorite race car driver growing up. And the Brickyard is one of my favorite places I've ever watched the race at. So I love your answer for that. And great segue again, though, because now I want to talk about advice. What is some advice that you would give someone that wants to be a race car driver or somebody that, eventually kind of wants to be in an owner president type of role of their own kind of motorsports? What advice would you give them?
Learn, keep your eyes and ears open, and sometimes write your questions down. But it doesn't matter if you want to be a race car driver, a sports reporter, whatever. Find someone who you would like to see your life be like, and it might
Mhm.
not just be one person. So with me, they'll say, okay, I like racing, I like this, but I like what they do over there, and I like what they do. Find your people and go to them and ask them, what was your path? That's not going to be necessarily their path, but like, how did you get where
Right.
you're at? And can I come in? And you would be shocked at how many young men, young women that come in here and they follow me around for a couple days. And they're like, I never knew this was what it was like. They thought it was all like, private jets and this and that. And I said, no, honey, it's work. You know what I mean? But I said, but the work is the fun part. You know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
know that sounds weird because you would think like the racing and the jetting around would be the fun part. The work. Oh, I love the work, and if you don't love the work, then you're not going to love the payout, but
Right.
you've got to be able to love that first. So, just ask someone, walk up to someone and say, I really have a passion for this. I really have an interest. Is there any way? And you have to realize when you're asking that, you're asking of that person to not only give their time, which is really important during the day, but you're also asking them to open themselves up. And that sometimes is hard because, we're so shut off. Like, I don't have time for that. I'm going to walk. I don't have that. You're asking a lot from that person, but just you be ready to commit too. So, yeah, find someone and try to, like, I would ask someone, and believe it or not, it was just many people. I had a jet car driver. He says, do as I say, don't do as I do. So I'm going to tell you the things that I did wrong. Okay. So don't do these things. And I listen to
Okay.
that every time. I'm like, okay. So I tell Josette, don't do this. I did this so you don't have to. Yeah.
Right. Right. No, I love that. I love that. Great answer. We've came to the portion of the podcast now where I have played an interactive game with my guest called This or That. Elaine, what this is I throw some things at you and you get to choose this or that. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty lighthearted. Um, I'll ask you, are you ready?
Yep. I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Which restaurant, if you had a choice to choose from these two, would you eat at? Popeyes or KFC?
Oh, Popeyes.
That's what I'm talking about. We off to a good start, Elaine. We off to a good start. Here we go. Which flavor would you rather put on a chicken wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Oh, barbecue.
Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Wet.
Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Boneless. Bones freak me out.
Okay. So do you eat your wings with a fork?
No, but I mean, I'd eat bone and wings, but because we'll go to like the wing house and we'll go to places, but I'm like, "Ugh." Yeah, I grew up saw chickens. Okay, it was like, ugh.
I feel that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No, because most boneless people, I'm a boneless person too. I like more meat, but most boneless people like to eat their boneless wings with
Oh
fork.
no, you got to get messy, got to get it all over. Yeah,
I'm
that's
with
what
you.
you
I'm
do.
with you on that.
Hmm.
That's what I'm talking about, girl. I'm with you on that. Okay, here we go. These next four have to do with music concerts that you rather go see. Okay. So here we go. Which music concert would you rather go watch? Would you rather go see Beyonce or Taylor Swift?
Oh, Beyonce. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
okay.
I
Okay.
know, but Josette would be Taylor Swift, but I'm Beyonce. Yeah, I don't know.
See,
Hmm.
that's why you're best friends. That's
Yep.
why exactly you're best friends. You gotta have your
Yep.
similarities and your differences. So that's what's up. I
Yep.
like that. Here we go. The next concert. Which concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see the Zach Brown band, or would you rather go see Luke Combs?
Zach Brown band, if I have to. I'm not a big country person.
You said the way you said that, you was like, I was like, damn, she don't she don't really rock with the country stuff. It's
No.
okay. It's okay. I'm
And even
with you on
if
that.
it's going into country, I can forgive that one. I'm not a big, I am, yeah, I'm more like, if I'm gonna go country, it's gonna be more like reggae-ish kind of. And I know that's not, but if I'm gonna be like, if I want to get into a vibe, I don't, country isn't just my thing. So that's
Okay.
okay. It's
That's all right.
it
Now,
mhm.
listen. I'll make up for that because this next one is R&B. Which
Okay.
concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Boys the Men or New Edition?
New edition. I
Oh
don't
my.
know,
Oh,
but I don't know. I wouldn't go.
oh no. You don't know
Do
Boys
I
the Men?
have to? Yeah, I see Boys to Men. You know why? It's because that was like a really awkward time. Okay, so I grew up in the 80s, okay? That was like a different, and I was more heavy metal, believe it or not. So, yeah, I
Okay.
know. Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm more Metallica, which I know is like
That's great.
is
Metallica's
yeah.
good.
I'm very intense, like hockey and basketball. I'm very intense. So, yeah, that's
Elaine,
just
I'm
too
I'm
feel goody.
trying. I'm trying to like see you intense. Like you're smiling too much. You have a baby
Yeah.
face. It's angelic. I don't understand. We're intense. Like I'm trying to read that in my mind. I just
Yeah.
don't see it.
9 Inch Nails. No, I'm exactly the opposite. Yeah, yeah, of what
Maybe I
people
need
would
to see
think.
you like in a race car on a racetrack. Maybe I
Oh
need to see
no,
you doing that.
visor goes down, eyeballs come out, and you better watch it. Yeah, the claws come
Okay.
out, and I'm out for blood. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I got you. Well, I have two more because I did think of a bonus one. This next
Okay.
one is rock. Okay. Which
Okay.
concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Motley Crue or Def Leppard?
Oh, Def Leppard. Are you kidding? No, that's the OG. Yeah. Even though
Okay.
I like Kickstart My Heart with my Motley Crue, there's a lot of good songs from Motley Crue, but Def Leppard, I just love their band. I mean, Pyromaniac, are you kidding? I mean, I'm a pyromaniac, so
Yes. Yes. That I have
can't help
learned over
it.
this conversation. That's for
See, that's
sure.
showing my 80s big hair rock stuff, can't help
That-
it.
yeah, I'm thinking like Cindy Lauper. You was probably around that with the big hair and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, but see, I was more Joan Jett and Pat
Oh,
Benatar, and I was more like rocker girl, like that kind of yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Now I'm
Yeah.
getting the vibe. Okay, now I can see it. I can see the
Yeah.
aggressiveness now. Okay. All right. Here we go. Oh, last one of the music ones. Which concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see um Poison? I believe that's what they call it. Poison.
Yep, Poison.
Or Metallica.
Metallica. Are you kidding? Metallica is like the gods of rock. Like,
Enter the Sandman is still one of my favorite albums. No question
yep.
about that. So
Yeah, Enter Sandman, are you kidding? That's like the most iconic, and when it's
yeah.
like, and if you want to get a get up song to get into the race car, it just starts going. And yeah, it's got the long intro. You can't, yeah, yep. Hmm.
Is it bad that also one of my favorite Metallica songs is the real slow one, the Nothing Else Matters?
Oh no, I love that. Yep, yep.
Okay,
But that's when I'm just kind of chilling on a raft. See, that's like my
right,
chillax music. Okay.
right. That yeah, I
Yep.
would not play that before a race. That's for sure.
No,
That's for
nope.
sure.
Uh-uh.
Okay, I got you. You did pretty good with that. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Football or baseball?
Football.
Which
Baseball's
sport would you
boring.
well, I would say this, Elaine. Baseball is definitely boring if you watch it on TV. Now, if you in person and it's the playoffs, it can get kind of
Yep.
exciting. It can get
Yep.
exciting. Okay. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Bowling. Smashing
Are you
pins.
are you a good bowler?
No. I just throw the ball as hard as I can and hope to knock everything down and chuck it. Okay. I don't care how I do it. If you're in the lane beside me, my ball may coming over there, but it's just fun. And so as hard as you can throw it down the thing, it's gonna get somewhere fast.
Do you need the bumpers?
Oh, no, I don't care. Mm-mm.
Okay, good, good. That's all I care about. If you got
Yep.
bumpers, then yeah, we can't play. That's all. That's just
No,
what it is.
mm-mm.
Okay, okay, here we go. Do you like dessert?
Yeah, sugar fiend. Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna name four different categories of desserts. You have to choose one of these that you'll never eat again.
Okay.
So here we go. The first one is ice cream. The second one is candy. The third one is cake slash pies. The last one is cookies. Which one do you
Ice
get rid
cream
of?
gone. Ice cream's gone. I need
Oh my God.
substance. Okay.
Okay.
Give me some Sour Patch Kids, some
Okay.
no, oh no, yeah. Cakes, pies. So you asked me how do I chill? I'll bake. I'm a big baker. I love to bake. So like I know if I put flour, eggs, sugar, and something, I can make something come out. And when I take that first bite, I just sugar just calms me. It doesn't amp me up, it makes me happy.
So like I said, when I do come back down there to Florida, because I definitely would love to be around one of your races. If you ever want to bake like chocolate chip cookies or brownies or
I know.
anything like
Yep.
that of the
Yep.
sort,
hmm
please don't hesitate to do so because I won't hesitate to eat it. That's for
You know,
sure.
nope. hmm
That's awesome. I like that. What's your favorite cake? I should ask.
Okay, German chocolate, which I know is weird, but I like German chocolate just because I like the coconut, the nuts, and it's more
Mhm.
nostalgic because my mom, whether I liked it or not, that was my cake that she made me every year. And so
Mhm.
who knows why, but that was my cake. So it just makes me think of her. So German chocolate.
So, Elaine, we were vibing through this whole conversation until you said the
Until
German
then,
truffle. Until then. But
you, no,
on a
come
side
on, you
note,
can't be red velvet. Can't. No, red
well,
velvet's just a wannabe chocolate cake. Okay.
well, that's good. Red velvet is good, but that would be my favorite. My favorite is just a plain chocolate cake. Just plain
Yep.
chocolate.
Yep.
Plain chocolate
See,
cake.
red
But
velvet just gets all that red all over you. You don't need it. Just eat a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. There's no need for
yeah,
that. Yep.
yeah, that's my favorite. But
Yep.
my mother's favorite is what you just said, which was German chocolate. She
Yeah.
loves German chocolate cake, so that's her favorite. So okay.
Yep.
Do you like potato chips?
Any kind of salty sweet mix. Yeah, I love potato chips. Yep.
Same kind of format, Elaine. Okay, same format. Four brands I'm gonna throw out at you. You got to choose one of these brands to get rid of. Okay, so here we
Okay.
go. First brand is Lay's. The second brand is Ruffles. The third brand is Pringles. The last brand is Doritos. Which one are you
Pringles
getting
is
rid of?
gone. Pringles is gone. Yep. Two foo-foo in a can. I need a whole bag. There's not nearly enough Pringles in a little can. I need the whole bag. And you need,
Wow, you are very
yep.
decisive. I like that. I
Yep.
like your
Pringles is gone.
decisiveness.
Yep.
Okay, what is your favorite potato chip?
Um, I can just do literally whatever's in my pantry. I'm not I can just do a regular salty potato chip. That's it. Anything. It can be Ruffles,
Okay.
it can be regular, it doesn't matter. I mean, if yeah, yeah, just a plain potato chip is my favorite because it can go with anything.
Yes. I think salt and vinegar are the worst chips ever, the second worst chips ever made, for sure.
Yep.
Salt and
Yeah, but you
vinegar.
won't eat a lot of them. So if you have them there, you might eat one and you won't eat the rest of the bag. So, there
I
is
will not.
good.
I will not. Yeah. The only worst chip worse than those is Funyuns. Whoever the hell made Funyuns need to be
No,
slapped
no
twice.
Funyun.
I don't
Nope.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what was that about. But I typically love that answer because different people pick different answers. So it's very interesting to hear those responses. Um, Take me through the day that the accident happened, and how
Yeah.
I acquired that information because I like to do a little background research as I knew a few things about you prior to coming on here. Um, I saw that you raced and you had that accident and you was in the hospital, but
Yep.
something happened with your brain, I believe.
Yep.
Take me through as much as you can remember of that day and that process of getting back to where you are now today?
You know, it was in Columbus, Ohio. I was at National Trail Raceway. It was a
Mhm.
just normal Saturday day at the races. We lined up, but for some reason, I always when I think back on it, I knew something wasn't right that day because I told my crew chief to tighten me down one last time. I was in the staging lanes getting ready to be pulled out to the track, and I
Mhm.
said, "Hey, Mikey, tug me one more time." And so we pulled on my seatbelts one more time. I just remember that. I never ask anyone to do that. In 23 years, I don't ask anyone to tighten me again. For some reason, that day I did. Pulled out onto the starting line. Everything looked normal. Blasted down the track. All of a sudden, about 1,000 foot, 1,200 feet down the track, my front end came up. My car soared. It just twisted to the side. I nosed into the wall. The back end hit the wall at 280 miles an hour. Um, I knew I was in trouble. You know what I mean? I knew something. I knew it was. I knew, but everything felt fine. I was didn't. You know, there was no like weird feeling. I was like, oh crap, this is gonna hurt. The noise went away, but my eyes saw everything. So the car hit the wall, slid over, slid on its side, was flying down the side of the road or the side of
Mhm.
the racetrack up against the wall. And then I looked up, and this is the moment when you say, "Yep, she's married to the right man." The only thing I saw was my husband barreling at me in our truck. I saw the white truck coming at me, and I said, "Chris is coming. He's going to get me. I'll be okay. Chris is coming." So in my line of sight, I just saw my husband coming at me. I didn't see anyone else, didn't see anything else. I did see my rear tires flying over my car. I didn't feel heat. My car was on fire. Didn't feel heat, didn't feel any of that. But he got there and he never looked inside the driver's compartment. He just said, "We got to flip the car over." I heard him putting the fire out. The safety safari was there. Everyone was doing their job. And he said, "Okay, we're going to flip the car in three, two, one." The car flipped over. He tapped my shoulder. He said, "You okay?" Didn't even look in the car. He just said, "You okay?" And all of a sudden I unbuckled and I shot out of the car. I was the biggest Ricky Bobby. I was like, "I'm on fire." And I was running out. It was
Man,
craziness.
wow.
The ambulance guy had to about tackle me and he said, "Okay, we need to look at you." And I said, "I'm okay. I'm okay." He says, "No, you're not okay. And I said, "No, I'm okay." Um, Went to the hospital after that just to make sure I was because I wasn't feeling any pain. I was so jacked up on adrenaline. Everything was fine. What I didn't realize at the time, I'd shattered my kneecap. I broke three ribs. I had my ankle was broken, and then I
Wow.
had a severe brain bleed. And we didn't know that at the time. But I was running around on a broken ankle. I was running around on a shattered kneecap. I was running. Nobody could catch me. And so went to the hospital and I said, "I hit a wall at 280. Here's my helmet." They looked at me like, I said, "No." And I said, "It hurts to take a breath in and out." They said, "Well, you probably bruised some ribs. So, just be careful. Here's some pain pills. Here's this. Go on your way." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I went home and I actually flew home that night. The husband drove the battered race car home. About 2 days later, my world came crashing in. My head hurt so bad. When football players have that traumatic brain injury when they get hit and their brain
Yeah.
starts swelling, I never knew what people meant, and I don't think anybody could even understand. I literally was almost trying to put my head through a plate glass window. My head hurt so bad, and I didn't know why. The husband finally took me back to the emergency room, and they did a CT scan on me and realized that my brain was swelling at an alarming rate. So
Right.
they airlifted me to the next hospital, and that's when I got a nice 2 weeks off. They put me into a medically induced coma and ended up going in and doing a surgery where they drilled two holes in my skull and
Wow.
allowed my brain to, swell and go down. And they had to wait for it to stop. So this is all titanium and screws. So when you meet me, you'll see that I have screws loose in my head. So this is all titanium over here. I had to learn how to pretty much function. The left side controls your right side. So I couldn't
Yep.
use my right hand. I couldn't speak. Like in my mind, I was saying things like I'm saying it to you, but I was talking gibberish. I'd be like, a bit, a bit, a bit. And people are like, "Oh my gosh," I wasn't saying real words. And
Right.
so that was affected. It took about 2 weeks for some of that to get back. I couldn't balance. I would stand up and I would fall over. So I was a fall risk. So people had to walk behind me. Um, it was a painfully, painfully slow comeback, and they shaved all of the side of my head. So I was buck bald on this side, had a big patch of hair over on this side. So I cut all this hair off and I'm like, screw it, let's just whatever. Um, and the only thing that kept me going is that, the husband was back in the race shop building me another car and he's like, are you gonna get in it? I said, absolutely. There was no way I was gonna let that be the last memory of me going down the track.
Sure.
I got back in the car. I'd love to say that I was balls out and I was like, "Argh." I was scared to death. I'm
Sure.
like, you can't do this again. And so I'm like, you got to be better than this girl. Well, I went out, raced an entire year, was good. Literally a year to the date when I had my accident, I had another accident. I'm like, are you flipping kidding me?
Wow.
But it's taken me a while to get my confidence back to understand. It's taken me a little bit because it always scares me to put people in the cars and to do that when I realize that this could literally take your life. It's a scary thing. And all it takes is a thousandth of a second for something to go wrong. And then that's it. We actually had a driver, one of our drivers pass away that was racing for us. Her
Wow.
name was Kat Muller. And that was only like, gosh, maybe 6 years ago. She was racing and I was on the start line and that happened. And I just realized that life is precious. We only get 24 hours in a day, 365 days in a year. I don't want to waste a second of it. So if tomorrow, the next time I go out and I race and something happens, just know that I lived a very large, big, loud, fun life. I lived every day to the max. I can't imagine not living so big. I can't imagine not living so out there. I love what I do. I hate what it can potentially do to you, but I
Right.
love what it makes you into, So
Yeah.
yeah, it's the racing thing. The part that I hate is when something goes wrong. But that part
Sure.
that I love is when everything goes right. And you got to have that love-hate relationship.
Yeah, it's a risk. It's the same risk that you made when you put all your eggs in a basket to start this company.
Yep.
It's the same
Yep.
risk that people put every time they sit in that car and then get ready to take off.
Yep.
You know what could happen. It's unfortunate. I appreciate your transparency. It's definitely unfortunate what happened to Miss Moeller. And it's
Hmm.
unfortunate what happened to you as well. But obviously, it didn't shake your confidence to say to the point of, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to at least try, right? And,
Oh
and
yeah.
a lot of people wouldn't have that. Some people would, but a lot of people wouldn't have that confidence to do it. And I'm sure you had a great support system around you.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you worked your tail off to try to get back to be able to, use your right hand and not talk gibberish. And obviously look at you now, thriving, looking beautiful as ever. Um, and doing your thing as a president and as an owner. I but it's also a great segue because I wanted to ask this question, and that's advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to. You've given advice, but what is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to?
Absolutely. It's more about you have to look out for you. And as much as there's been a big moment, it was a really so I got to race Jay Leno. So Jay Leno actually sent me an email and wanted us to be on Jay Leno's garage. And it was his studio that actually gave me this advice. He said, nobody's going to look after you better than you. Go out there. Don't try to be so big. Don't try to be so bold. Just go be you. You know what I mean? And so um sometimes just being you is enough. Like you always try to be a little better, a little faster, a little prettier, a little this, a little that. Just go be you. And I know it's crazy, but be the biggest and best you can be. Don't try to be someone else. Don't look left and right and say, I want to be like them. I want to be like me. I want to be the very best me I can be. And that's what, I said, so what are you looking for? Like, what do you want us to do for Jay Leno? Right. And he said, be you. We wanted you here because we like you and we wanted to be like around you. And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay. So that was my advice. They said, go be me. And so I've been me ever since.
Listen, there's no other Elaine Larsen like you.
Yeah.
There's no question about that, right? And it's really easy to want to emulate people, especially,
Yep.
especially in I would say in my field in journalism,
Mhm.
because you see people on TV, you see people talking about sports, you see people covering great events. Like, man, I want to be that next Aaron Andrews, or I want to be
Yep.
that next person in the broadcaster booth. But you have to find your own space, your own voice, and who you are, as you said.
Yep.
And it's difficult to do, but it's not impossible to do. So,
Nope.
I love that. I love that advice that you was given. Tell me now, this day. We went from the day of the tragic accident or what happened, but talk to me about the day that you got the call to be in the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. When you knew you was about to be enshrined in 2023, that had to be one heck of an honor. That had to kind of just elation come over you when you got the call. Talk to me about that day.
That's really cool because it wasn't just the motorsports. This is all of sports. And, a lot of people think it's like what you do on the court or on the track or all that kind of stuff that matters. By being inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame, it's what you do with what you of who you are when you're on the track. So what
Mm.
that told me is yes, I'm good at what I do, but they saw all the things that I did for charities, for schools, for, going into different schools and to be able to motivate kids. That's what that's about. I mean, they want to have people who are successful in their industry. That's, you have to be successful first, but what you do with that success is what they nominated and put you in for. And to me, that was like, finally, I was like, man. And when they put together the piece that they showed when I walked out on stage, it was like, holy cow, I did all that. Like it made me stop, take a break, look back and see how far I'd come and to
Yeah,
see all the
reminisce.
things I'd done along the way.
Yeah,
And only a small bit of it was racing. It was everything that I'd done outside of the racing world because there's always more successful people. Listen, you may be on top today. It only takes one person to knock you off the pedestal. Someone else is going to be on top tomorrow. You can't strive for that kind of perfection. You just have to be the very best person you can be on and off the track or on and off the court or on and off
yep,
whatever you do. And
agreed.
so that's the important part is like it's what you do with what you have. And being able to go out there and to hopefully inspire, motivate. And now I'm giving scholarships to kids and to be able to do stuff like
Mm.
that, to be able to give people give me money. And then I get to go out and say, and you get to have a free school and you get to go to this and you get to have that. That's the part that's so fun. I mean, championships come and go, race wins come and go. You're the winner until the next person comes around and then they're the winner. So
Sure.
that you can trade places with that. The Florida Sports Hall of Fame made me realize that people had seen the work that we'd put in and it wasn't just me because I'd love to think it's just me. I'm just one piece of this entire amazing puzzle that the husband, all the crew, all the drivers, all my family, all my friends that had just helped me along the way. That was like all of us on stage that got to have that. So that was pretty cool.
No, that sounds great. I mean, I've never met anybody that's been inducted into any kind of Hall of Fame. So to be able to talk to somebody that's been inducted into the Florida Sports Hall of Fame is pretty cool, pretty amazing. And
Yep,
like you said, it's not just you, although you're a huge piece, and we need to give you your flowers because that's expected. But there's a lot of people that help out along the way. There's a lot of people that have helped
yep,
you get to where you've gotten to. So, and
yep,
I love that. I really do. Elaine, this has been a really dope conversation. Just being able to learn about you, your company, your drivers, what you're doing, not just in the racing field, but also in the communities. The fact that you're giving scholarships and paying it forward for other kids. The fact that you are inclusion with your company, with kids. The fact that you're still driving. You're still doing your thing. Not
yay.
right. It's just really amazing to hear that, and the bounce back of even going through what you went through is inspiring. And for me personally, I take it as something that's very inspiring because I just got out of the hospital myself. I was in there for 10 weeks, um, going through a septic wound. that was infected in my blood, and they found that I was also a diabetic.
Okay.
So I ended up being in the hospital for, like I said, 10 weeks. And I lost 55 pounds. Lost a lot of weight and dropped down. But I feel better now. I feel more healthier now. I had to make some life changes, of course. But hearing other people's stories that go through things and how they deal with things really build, and how you see they deal with things really builds their character, and you see their character, right? Some
Yep.
people that go through things, they have a massive breakdown, and
Yep.
they just don't know how to deal with it. It's just adverse situations. And listening to what you went through is just very inspiring. And of course, with what I went through, I try to tell people all along because, of course, my family, my mother was dropped everything as a mom would for her children, come to the aid of myself. And then my dad as well came to my aid as well and helped me out. So I was very blessed to have a great support system just like you, and I'm very, very blessed to be talking to you on my podcast today.
Well, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Sylvester Stallone says it's not how you get knocked down. It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's your ability to continue to get up and keep moving forward. And
That's
that's
how
it.
winning is done.
Because yep, you have to, everyone's gonna get knocked down. It's the ones that stay down. And it's like when they knock you down, they go stay down, and you're like, "Oh, hell no. You're
No.
not gonna keep me down. I don't care if I have to
Mhm.
crawl over to the wall and get back up." That's the thing. Those are the kind of people I wanna be around, or the people who just need help getting up because they don't know how to. You know what I mean? And just show them once you
Absolutely.
get back up, it's gonna be harder to knock me down the next time, so, yep. And just, being in the hospital, that sucks. I mean, there's nothing worse than that, and it's just scary because it's out of your control. Like, you
It
can
is.
control everything about it, but when you're there, you can't control anything, and
No,
so I
no.
I don't like that. Yeah.
I feel you on that. I like that.
Yep.
Again, I want to thank you for coming on my Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, Elaine. I want you to have a wonderful Wednesday and the rest of the week. You and I would definitely be in touch because, like I said, I will
Absolutely.
definitely be down there in Florida in the month of October, and we will have to get up with each other. Have a drink. I had to meet Chris. I always love meeting people. That's Chris, by the way. So that's
Yep.
awesome. So yeah,
Yep.
that would be amazing. So I definitely would love to do that. Again, my final question to you was, is there anything else that you would like to add about yourself, racing, or anything at all before we conclude?
I think you just want to follow along and follow and see or apply to be the next jet car driver. Just go to our website, which is lmsjets.com, stands for Larsen Motorsports
Mhm.
Jets.com. So if you go there, if you put in an application, you just never know. And why not you? Well, the only way it's not going to be you is if you don't apply. The
Mm,
only way it's not going to be your chance is if you don't take it. And
mm.
so if you want this to be your life, it very well could be. So apply, because I love meeting new people. I love to see what makes people get up and get excited. And so hopefully, yeah, that's it.
I love it. Well said. Well, once again, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day and your week. We will be in touch.
Thank you. See ya. Bye.